What's up, everyone? Happy Sunday. Tip of the beanbag. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. What's going on? Yo, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's the good word, everyone? The world is actual garbage. The world is trash. Nothing can be trusted. I got a couple things to jam about. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you showing up. Happy Sunday. A little bit of a late jam today. What's going on? Yo, what's up? Fleshy Funbridge in the building. Yo, I have a couple topics that I wanted to jam on this afternoon, this evening, tonight, whatever. Couple topics. Thank you, Chef Farm to Face, for buying the badge early. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. What's going on, everybody? I hope you had a wonderful afternoon. I hope you had a wonderful evening. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate you opening up your fun bridge to get tickled. And I have a couple of messages, a couple of massages to tell you today, to yell into your eye. I think the main message of today's broadcast here is I just want to reiterate the importance of understanding that it is our responsibility to carry the proverbial torch of American freedom, liberty, and the American way of life. I wish that more people understood this very important truth, this very important fact, that it is our responsibility alone to carry the truth of liberty, freedom, and honesty from now until the next generation. Because if we don't do it, then it will certainly reach its untimely demise, and it certainly wouldn't be doing much of a. We certainly wouldn't be honoring all of the people that came before us, that did a whole lot of things and a whole lot of wonderful things and a whole lot of brave things to ensure our freedom and liberty and give us all the beautiful and wonderful freedoms that we have to this day. And as bad as it is, and even though the world is trash, everything is upside down, the world's on fire, and everything is garbage, America is still the greatest nation to ever exist in the history of time. So, kind of like the main overarching message is that, but also that the truth will not be televised, meaning that it is going to be our individual responsibility personally. Yes, you, yes, me, yes, every single person that's on this live, everybody that consumes this type of content, anybody that's willing and capable of seeing the world in this way. It is our individual responsibility, one by one, hand-to-hand combat, teaching and educating people about what's actually going on. And as the world continues to open up, and as we come to the end of the Corona clap farce, total wealth shift from the poor to the rich, the largest, probably quite possibly the most significant and large bamboozling and wealth transfer in the history of human existence. As we come towards the end of this, and I start seeing people on TV, in stadiums, in arenas, at basketball games, football games, and all these other things, as we start to see the world start to open up and everybody just kind of like moves back in lockstep to the way that they lived their life before, I think that it's important that we all don't allow the illusion to just die and go into the past, because this is not going to be the last time that they pull some shit like this. So, and when we have a time of calm such as this, where we're actually coming out of it and people are like getting back into the normal lockstep of like basically, I guess you could say, normal life, it's important that we all remember to keep the lies in the forefront and make sure that we share with people what actually happened. And I think one of many significant events that's happened in recent days that I find very interesting and just so funny and hilarious and also trash and garbage and no surprise at all is what happened with Donnie Ballpark in that photo that he got at that church in DC, where they alleged in the media that him and his gang of army militants flashbanged and beanbag shot and smoke bombed peaceful protesters in the park in DC so that he could walk over to this church and get a photo op with the Bible. And this, like many other tales, it just comes out later that it's a complete lie. But the point is that the people that we're fighting against, the opponents of freedom, the people that believe that America is a no good, very bad, very evil place, these snakes in the grass, these garbage merchants, these Nancy Pelosi, literally underworld serpents of hell, these demons of sorts, hell bent on power and lies and corruption and just towing the proverbial line so that they can enrich themselves now until forever and just take care of themselves. The ends justify the means for these psychopaths. This, like many other lies, it's like everybody knew it was a lie. The truth seekers, the people that actually did the research, that communicated to people how this was a lie, how this was a complete farce. It's like, here they are being proven right again. Yet months later, it comes out when it's not in the conversation anymore. It's like there are going to be many things that happen in this exact same fashion where we all knew that it was BS. We all understood that it was a complete lie. We all understood that that's not the way that it is. We took the time to do the research, communicate the truth to people, spread the knowledge, bring people into the circle, correct people in social situations when they are incorrect about something that actually happened, not in a confrontational way, but in a way of sharing and telling the truth. It's important that each and every one of us has a personal responsibility and feels obligated to carry the torch of truth from now until the future. Because unless we tell the truth, there will be no truth. If it is not us, it is no one. That's the thing. And what everybody always says, the comment that I hear most frequently is like, I never heard about that. Exactly. You didn't hear about that. And most people didn't hear about that because they didn't take the time to seek out sources of information that reveal those types of truths. Things like the mainstream media like CNBC, MSNBC, CBS, NBC, CNN, all of these other news outlets, a magazine, a newspaper, your local social circle, the jabrons that you play cribbage with at the local whatever, the local gaming parlor or whatever, you get it. Those types of, most people are not privy to this type of intel because they don't want to take the time to think about it. They don't want to take the time to care about it. They want to get spoon-fed the truth and they just want to live their life. That is the problem. And what we have to understand is that the enemy, so to speak, the enemy of freedom, the anti-American, anti-you just doing your own thing and living your life, these people don't want anybody to be able to find this information. So they're going to demonize it. They're going to suppress it. They're going to hide it. They're going to make sure that it's not visible. And then they're going to try to make you feel socially weird that you would even bring such a thing up. So they're going to try to let you know that you're going to be ostracized from your social circles by simply talking about these things that are actually, in fact, the truth. And time proves them to be true as we go through life. But the thing is that if you make a newspaper article and you blatantly lie in that newspaper article, and then you quietly redact it 3 months later on the 47th page, it's like it didn't even happen. It's like it doesn't matter. So unless you're going to the 47th page to see the redactions, unless you're in the ecosystem of truth and knowledge, you will never even get that information. So even though they are permitted to lie, they will just lie in perpetuity going forward about any and every possible thing, as long as the conversation and the narrative continues along in the direction that they want, and they can get away with it. Because if they just have to quietly redact it on page 47 6 months later when nobody cares, then it didn't even happen. They might as well just continue to lie from now until forever. So the only way that this stops, the only way that this madness ends, the only way that the truth actually gets out is through independent, truth-seeking, knowledge-seeking, honest American patriotic people that understand that the war is fought in communication. The war is fought hand-to-hand combat every single day with your mouth. The pen is mightier than the sword, and your words are the single answer to the solution of all of these things. It is all of us making it obvious that this stuff is happening and highlighting these problems and highlighting these inconsistencies and highlighting these lies, voting with our time, voting with our attention, voting with our dollars and our eyeballs. That is the only way that these things are solved. Otherwise, they can just lie. Carte blanche, they don't care. They can lie straight to your face and no one will care about it because they won't hear about it because it's being redacted on page 66 or whatever in silence 6 months later. So it's like they basically have permission to lie and nobody cares. So it's just like, if we don't tell the truth, if we don't spread the knowledge, if we don't carry the torch of liberty, honesty, and freedom, it will be lost. It will be extinguished. It is up to us, and it is up to us alone. And it's just like, look, if somebody would have told you years and years ago that the most patriotic thing that you could do other than fighting in a war is speak truth and support American values and the cause of liberty and freedom till the day you die, you would be like, I could probably do that. I'm not necessarily at risk of death. What am I at risk of? Ostracizing from my social circle, from the friends that are. What's a friend anyways? A friend. That's such a used and abused and tossed to the side word in 2021. What is a friend really? It's like if somebody's going to not be around you because the way that you choose to see the world and won't even entertain a conversation, will quietly unfollow you, never talk to you again, talk shit about you behind your back. What kind of friend is that? I mean, what kind of friend is that? What kind of friend can't be reasoned with? That's the whole point. That's no friend. You don't need those people in your life. That's not a friend. That's the whole point. So it's just like, all right. So it's like, what do you really have to lose? What you have to lose is the American way of life, freedom, liberty, and this country that's given us every single thing that we could ever possibly imagine. It's like, have they not done enough for us? No. Okay, cool. Well, then step it up. Like when you're taking a dump, post it on social. When you're in a social conversation, to correct people. Don't let them get away with being like, yeah, Donnie's a time. It's like you have to interject yourself in the uncomfortable situations in order for something to change. Because you better believe that the people that are on the other side, the other view of things, that's what they're doing. The problem is that they have no integrity whatsoever. They could care less because they think that they're on the side of virtue. They think they're right. I'm not saying that they're all evil, they're all nefarious, they all are just wrong or stupid. I think it's actually quite the contrary. I think that they A, think that they're more virtuous, B, think that they're very intelligent, and quite frankly, they are very intelligent because they're objectively winning the war on many fronts. There are a lot of different objective ways that you can see that the other way of thinking is winning in a lot of different ways. So it's very important that we pay attention to how the battle is being fought, because at the end of the day, this is a perpetual non-ending war. It's the war on the American way of life. It's the war on freedom. It's the war on independence. It's the war on liberty. It's the war on American values. It's the war on personal responsibility. And the only people that can solve it is each of us, hand to hand, day to day, conversation to conversation, post to post, message to message, and word to word every single day for the remainder of your life. That's it. This is not a thing with a destination. There's not an end to it. It's a consistent torch carrying from now until the end of time. There is no end point. It's not like, all right, dope, we won the war, it's over, let's rock out, like let's build a fence and chill on the beach and eat sandwiches. But it's like, it's like this is a perpetual torch that needs to be carried until the end of time. It doesn't end. It's like exercise. I honestly feel like physical exercise is the most logical analogy to the cause of freedom. It's like you have to work for it. It's uncomfortable. It's difficult. It requires discipline. Nobody can give it to you. Nobody can protect it but you individually yourself. And it never ends ever till you die. It's like, that's it. It's like when you stop moving, when you stop exercising, when you stop taking care of your operation, it dies. That's what it is. And it doesn't die. It doesn't die immediately, but it starts to die immediately. So it takes a little bit of time. So it's just like the torch of freedom needs to be carried by all of us. That's the lesson. That's what needs to happen. There is no other way. It's like in order for America to thrive, in order for other people to live the life that we've been so lucky to live, then this is our moment. This is our torch to carry. This is our game to play. This is our battle to fight. So it's just like you got to feel lucky and thankful that you're not on a battlefield, not getting a mortar thrown at you. You didn't get your leg blown off. And if you did, thank you for your service. That's fucking amazing. And you're braver than I am. So it's like, could we all just show just a little bit of bravery and be willing to risk a little bit of social clout to tell the truth, to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation that's necessary in order for America and the world at large to continue being free? That's the point. That's why myself and many other people, including you, are consuming this type of content right now, yesterday, next week, next month, next year. So it's like, we need you. It's the collective effort that's a requirement in order for this to continue. There is no other way. I don't see another way. If somebody sees another way, I'd like to see it, but I don't know what there is other than that. That's it. It's hand-to-hand combat. It's individual conversations. It's carrying the torch of liberty now until you die. That's it. Passing it on. Passing on those values to your children, to the youth, to people in schools, and just telling the truth. That's the answer. It's like, what do we do? What do we do? That's what we do every single day. That's what you do every day. So it's like, okay. So, and again, yeah, it's difficult. Yeah, it's time consuming. Yes, it's social. It may be socially awkward, whatever else. Yes, you may lose friends, but what you will gain, what you will gain, I can't even express to you how valuable the friends are that you will actually gain. All the people that I thought were my friends were hardly that. Those are the people that are not around. The relationships that you build by people that are willing to see the world in terms of freedom, in terms of personal responsibility, in terms of consistently moving ahead and being better all the time and improving themselves. Those are the types of people you want to be around. Those are the types of people I'm surrounding myself with, and my life is objectively better in every single measure because of that reason. Because the other side of the discomfort is the value. That's where it's all at. It's all on the other side of the bridge. The discomfort, that separation, distances a mediocre life from a great one. And if you can take the time to just go over that fence and never look back, you win forever. That's the thing that it took me so long to realize. Comfort is an illusion. Comfort should make you uncomfortable. Comfort should be uncomfortable. It's the discomfort. It's the challenge. It's the difficulty. That's where all the success lies. If you again, to just go back to the analogy of like working out, I love being sore. I'm like, I can't get, I did legs. It's like, oh God, I can barely walk. That's how you're supposed to feel. That means you're working hard. That discomfort means that you're on your way to improvement. That is the answer. That is how life is supposed to be. You're supposed to be constantly navigating discomfort to find a greater version of yourself. And then as soon as you reach that line, you push it to the next. You try to accelerate through life to get to the highest and greatest version of yourself, to live your personal legend, to be the greatest thing that you could ever be ever in the world, because that's what we need. That's how the world continues to thrive. That's why America exists, because there were people out there that said, if I could just be the best version of myself, if I was willing to push myself to my absolute limits and give it my all now until forever, till the day I die, and pass that mentality on, couldn't we live in the greatest country the world has ever known? Couldn't we be surrounded by the greatest people that were ever to live? Couldn't America be the shining light on the hill? Couldn't America be the greatest nation to ever exist in the history of time? They thought that way. They acted that way. They did that. They felt that discomfort. The difference is that it looks different, but it's exactly the same. Except ours is like in a on a beanbag chair in an air conditioned house, like tweeting and having conversations. Theirs was like getting mortars thrown at them in a foreign land while bullets fly by their head. It's like, this is our challenge. This is our challenge. Like, send some, post a couple of Instagram videos, for the love of Christmas. It's like, I mean, they set it up. You ever been to a national park? You ever gone to a national park and just been like, this is dope? You ever walk a path in a national park and know that national park existed 50 years before you were even born, because some other people were so ill that they put that together and they were like, we need to preserve this shit. It's like, it's like you just being there and being like, this is amazing. Yeah, that's what all this shit is. That's why all of this is here, because of them. It's not by accident, dog. You could have been born anywhere on the planet. It's like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? It's like, how obvious does it have to be? I don't know. So it's like, come on, I don't know. And I'm not trying to jump on anyone to be like, you do more, but it's like, we all got to do more. I'm saying it just as much to myself as I'm saying it to you. That's the answer. It's like, I people ask me all the time, they're like, what do I do? It's like, just do that. That's it. That's all it is. It's that forever. You know what I mean? It's just that. That's it. That's it. That's it. Because as you navigate through those things and you're constantly questing for the next version, the better version, what other goals can you plow through, and then set higher, bigger, better goals so you can be the highest version of yourself, so you could pursue your personal legend, so you could do justice to this beautiful life that you've been able to get. It's like, if you're always doing that, you win forever. We win forever. America wins forever. It's like, that's it. That's the answer. It's like, if we could only get in the habit of having the discipline to think that way, act that way, execute that way, now until forever, you win forever. It's like every single thing you could ever wanted. Yeah, you'll get that times 5, times 10, times 100, as big as you could think about it. So it's just like, it's right there. Stop asking questions. That's it. That's the answer. That's the solution. Do that. It's just like I remember when I first got started in business, I was like, well, someone's got to tell me. It's like, no, what you got to do is you just got to show up every day. You got to just like not stop. That's what you got to do. You have to just continue throwing jello at the wall, seeing what sticks, shucking and jiving, navigating your way through this decision, that decision, this failure, this success, this failure, failure, success. And then you just navigate yourself consistently through that for the rest of your life. That's what you do. And that's the solution. That's how America stays great. That's how freedom stays great. That's how independence, personal responsibility, liberty, that's how all those things continue now until forever. Is by if we could all just think that way, act that way, execute that way, communicate that way in social situations, we win. Everything wins. That's it. That's the solution. It's like, cool. Then the only thing between here and there is time. Then we're just waiting for the time because it's already great. America's already amazing. Yeah, we got this basically Dead Werther's original in there right now. We got Krusty cackling her way through, but the time will move on. And as long as we think and act that way now until the next time the cycle comes through, we can resolve it. We can make another move. It's the yin and yang of life. It's duality. This is how things work. It goes left, it goes right. It goes left, it goes right. It's like a ticker. The point is that when somebody takes it a little too far, you got to go to the right. You got to keep working the best that you can consistently now until forever. You can't give up. You can't be like, I'm not going to vote or I'm not going to such and such or like stock up. It's like, no, it's just like, this is a consistent and perpetual non-ending fight for America. That's what it is. So it's just like, cool. That's what we got to do. And and on that doesn't mean that that's the end of it. It's just that that's the mentality. And as long as you continue along that path, forever, you'll see other things that you got to navigate and solve. And in addition to that, as time goes on in business, in life, in freedom, in whatever you want, as you navigate your way through the forest, through the battlefield, you start to realize the things that you're uniquely suited for that you might be better at than the next 10 people beside you. And there's one guy that understands that he runs really fast. And there's one guy that understands that he can throw really far. And there's one gal that understands that she's got the best shot. And another guy that understands that he's the smartest or can see the farthest or can hear the best or whatever. And then each of you just lean in to your individual skill, the individual task that you do better than other people, where you have the advantage. And the combination of all of us leaning into our advantage, leaning into our unique strategy, our unique skill set that makes us different and better than the next person around us. If each of us lock in and target in on that thing that we're great at and just do that thing consistently now until forever, we all win. That's how great entrepreneurs are. That's how great Americans are. That's how everything works. It's called specialization, focus, constant execution, and discipline. You find the thing that you love to do that other people don't like, and you execute, and you become the greatest in the world to ever live at that thing. You just do one thing. That doesn't mean you don't do anything else. It just means you're known for, you're executing on, you're on one core thing, and that's your thing. And all of the other things will exist in a very tight ecosystem around that thing. But as soon as you find it, you'll do it forever, and you'll never feel like you work. You never feel like it's not a struggle because it's something that you are uniquely good at. If you're 6'11", maybe you're going to be good at basketball. You're going to be better at basketball likely than the guy that's 4'11". So you find your advantage, you execute on that advantage. It's like work smarter, not harder. And by doing these things consistently over time in life, in business, in whatever, you find that target, you lock into it, and then you become a specialist. And other people love, adore, support, and shower you with time, attention, and money because you found your target and you execute on it consistently forever. You could be a multi-millionaire speaking on a microphone. You could be a multi-millionaire cooking food. You could be a multi-millionaire sewing clothes. There's a million things that you could do that no one would have ever anticipated could ever reach the highest levels of things by just doing the thing that you are uniquely good at and that you love to do that doesn't feel like you're doing any work. Find your target, execute and lock into it, and you win. And then we all win. It's like, but everybody is like looking for it. Like everyone's out there looking for it instead of understanding that it comes to you while you're doing other things. That's how it happens. It magnetizes to you when you're trying lots of stuff. And as you don't know what it is, as you're unsure what your target is, you just do a bunch of things that you know will get you going in the direction of great success. It's the same way with this fight for America. It's like, I don't know what I could do. Do something. Do 50 things, all different things, and figure out the one that you like the most. Maybe it's organizing people. Maybe it's live streaming. Maybe it's video. Maybe it's podcasting. Maybe it's writing. Maybe it's books. Maybe it's magazines. Maybe it's public speaking. Maybe it's events. I don't know what it is, but you'll figure out what it is by trying lots of things and figuring out where you have an advantage. You could be an American patriot by making shirts that say things that make people think or act a certain way. You could be an American patriot by making watches that have American flags in them that donate to veterans. I mean, there's a million things that you could do by just finding your specialization, executing and targeting it. You can do great things in like life, business, and everything. It's like every single thing is like that. Like every single thing that I've ever found that's been great has been because I did 77 other things that were 10% to the left or 10% to the right or 10% above or 10% below what I actually was supposed to be doing. I didn't know what it was. I didn't see it. It wasn't clear, but I was doing all of these other things. I was doing all of these adjacent tasks and building up a skill level so that whenever I saw the opportunity that was the core one, that was the primary, that I'd be able to identify it because I built all these core support muscles, so to speak. So it's just like, what are you doing? You know, it's like, what are you doing to move this forward? What are you doing to elevate your operation? I kind of went in there. Kind of went in there. All right, so people are coming up with excuses. Yeah, but lots of time. You need money to invest in those dream jobs and passion. No, you don't. That is a lie. That is a lie that you tell yourself. If I only had money, if I only had the money to invest, that is a lie that entrepreneurs tell themselves to delay the inevitable. That's called laziness. We lie and we tell ourselves that we need money because if we need an investor, we need cash. If I only had. Tony Horton, excuses are self-imposed obstacles that prevent you from having a better life. Saying if you only had X, then this is a lie that you tell yourself. That's a lie. So whenever you get on the other side of that lie, your life will drastically improve. I remember I used to tell myself that lie all the time. When the day finally came, I mortgaged my house, second mortgaged my house, pulled $65,000 out of my house or $55,000, something out of my house, dumped it immediately into my business. I ripped through that money in 5.5 months. My entire life, I was like, if I only had $65,000, I'd be a millionaire. I ripped through that $55,000 in 6 to 7 months. The business moved forward. And yes, it helped me advance, but it by no stretch of the imagination was the key. It was by no stretch of the imagination the linchpin that brought me the success. All it did was give me a false self of accomplishment because I acquired money without earning it. You see that money in your account, you think that you should go spend it, and that's how you're going to win. That's it. That ain't it. Having no resources, having limited resources teaches you how to be resourceful. When your back's up against the wall and you have nothing, you cut all the fat out. You remove all the bullshit and you target in on only the most crucial business decisions and movements that will help you succeed and level up. By just being like, if I only had money, that allows you to just delay your effort. It allows you to delay your motivation, your ambition, your drive, everything. The only reason that I tell you this harsh and uncomfortable truth is because I used to tell myself that exact same lie. If I only had X, that's bullshit. There's a guy out there that doesn't have legs that could run farther than you can run. If I only had legs, did that guy say if I only had legs? Nope. There's a guy out there that has no fucking arms that's in better shape than probably half the people on here. You know what I mean? It's like, these people don't have limbs. And it's just like, oh, if I only had, these people understand that there are no excuses. It's up to you. Well, a guy with no legs, a guy with no arms could just sit there and just die. They'd be like, what am I doing? But they don't. Those people often thrive. There's a guy that started following my account like 6 months ago. I believe his name is Kyle. This dude climbed I think he climbed Mount Kilimanjaro or Mount Everest or some huge mountain without any assistance, and the guy has no legs. And it's like, dog, like what? If I only had to, it's like, no, dude. No, that's an illusion that we tell each other, that we tell ourselves, and that's the reason that I beat you up for that comment is because you're making an excuse for yourself to delay hard work. So it's uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable truth, but it's true. So it's just like, I wouldn't be doing the correct service to each of you listening if I was just like, yeah, you're right. You need an investor, or that. It's like, that's all. It's like, dog, no, that is not it. What's up, Ricky Lynn? What's going on? So what do you guys think so far? Give me some feedback in the comments. I've been ripping for 30 minutes. I just like went on a bender right there. Drop me some feedback in the comments. What do we think about what I've been talking about so far? Because I do have another topic that I was going to talk about from an email that a DM that I just got like an hour ago that I was going to kind of lean into for a minute. But I'm curious what you guys think in the old comments. Leo's the line says the world is trash and the end is near. No, it's not. Just don't say shit like that. The end is near. No, it's not. The end is fine. Thanks, D-Mark on YouTube. He said, love the motivation you put out. Joe on Facebook says, damn right. In life, sometimes if you want something in life, you got to go work for it. Agreed. Thank you, Chef Farm to Face. I appreciate that. It's Kilimanjaro, says Alicia. Yep. Thank you, Tanya Gilbertson. Tanya says, I love watching you. Appreciate that. The beginning is here. There you go. Chef Farm to Face has got it. That is right. I'm in a pineapple under the sea. So the other thing I was going to talk about. Oh, let me thank the people with the badges. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the badges, guys, on Instagram. I appreciate that. Thanks, Chef Farm to Face. Thank you so much. Thanks, Chooks Official, for the support. Always appreciate you, man. Thank you, Towels Blues 25. Thanks, Sean 87 Callahan. And thanks, Pink Tiki 1969, for buying the badges on Instagram. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for that. Bean Alana says your hustle deserves a bigger following. Hey, listen. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the comment. But that's actually an interesting segue into my next topic. I really want to lean into the idea or the concept of the word deserve. Because that's a word that is a word that we all need to really understand, because words are important. And as a bit of a wordsmith myself, you bags of cheese, I just want to chat a little bit about how I feel about the word deserve. Alicia says on YouTube, how can we get you badges on this platform? I always buy merchandise. Merch night soon. Yeah, I'm going to do a merch night this week. A bunch of people have been asking me about what is it now merch and stuff like that. So I should do one this week. On YouTube, you can buy super chats. If you're watching on a phone, there's like a little $sign in the chat box. You can hit the $sign and you can do super chats or other things through YouTube, or I leave my Venmo and Cash App on there should you choose to. But either way, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Frank says, sorry, Bobby, I can't disagree with a single thing you said. That's what's up. I appreciate that. President-elect Chilova says, I feel like the conservative right are actually winning. The tide seems to be turning. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't think it's I don't know that it's like a win or a not win. I think it's a constant effort that needs to be perpetually have effort put into it. Slapjack says this beanbag has earned a bigger audience. Look, I am thankful for everything that's happened so far. I'm thankful for all you guys for being here. I appreciate the following so much. I take it extremely seriously. I hit 46,000 followers on Instagram today. I'm at probably close to 16,000 on Facebook, and I'm pretty sure the YouTube is almost up to 2,000. which I appreciate. So on that note, quickly before I continue, I just want to let you guys know, please go follow me on YouTube, youtube.com/Bobby Sausalito. I have 1,960 subscribers on YouTube. I would love to hit 2,000 before the end of the night. That would be amazing. So if you don't follow me on YouTube, please make sure that you go and follow me on YouTube. I got to build up the audience there. We got 50, 60,000 people on the other platforms combined. So I would love to see more of a following on YouTube. My lives are widescreen there, and I just would love to build the following there. So if you don't mind, please go follow me on YouTube. All right. So Frank says, stick to what you do exactly the way you do it. People will catch on. Yeah, exactly. Look, people that know me in real life, they understand my strategy in life is the same all the time. I do almost every single thing the same way, which is this. I play the long game. I understand the long game. When it comes to investing, when it comes to setting money aside, when it comes to delayed gratification, when it comes to friendships, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to life in general, I play the long game. I understand that the long-term value of things comes by building slowly the right way at high quality all the way through. It may not be the best path of everything, but it's the path that I know consistently works. I can't tell you what's going to happen in the stock market 1 month from now, 5 months from now, 8 months from now, 12 months from now, even 25 months from now. But what I can tell you probably with pretty decent accuracy is I know where it's going to be 10 years from now. I know what I'm going to do, how that will affect my life 10 years from now. I understand the 10-year way better than I understand the 1 year. So I play the long game with every single thing that I do, and it has done well so far. So the fact that there's 46,000 people on here, that's an arena full of people that are willing to pay attention to my content. I feel blessed for that. And I will continue doing my absolute best to continue to earn more and more people following along. Sherry Lynn says, I just subscribed on YouTube. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right. So here's my next, here's the next topic. I got a DM like an hour ago that says, I love you, Bobby Sauce. Like, I love your content. I love your critical thinking. But this was in a response to a post that I made. I'm going to pull up the post that I made first, and I'll read the post, and then I'll tell you what she said. So the post that I made, I can't look at it because I'm on Instagram. But whatever. It was Maya Wiley, the mayoral candidate, the hopeful mayoral candidate for New York City. She was talking about equal housing. Let me see if I can. Let me find her Instagram, and I'll see if I can find exactly what she wrote, because I was like, no, it isn't. Okay, here we go. Of course it's down. Let's see. Wait, hold on. It was like her and AOC saying something completely stupid and dumb and socialist and garbage. Okay, basically what it was talking about is she said that affordable housing is a human right. Okay? Look. So Maya Wiley, the hopeful mayoral candidate for the city of New York, which would be just as disastrous for New York City as Bill DeGarbagio is. She's an AOC favorite. She's a fucking socialist. She is a complete and total big government, big payout, equity socialist. It is insane how these people are so unaware of history. It is so unaware of how finances work. AOC probably makes a mean Moscow mule, but this woman does not have the most basic understanding of finances or how the economy is supposed to work. She doesn't understand she wouldn't understand capitalism if it kicked her in the sniz. She is a trash merchant when it comes to understanding financial matters. This woman is clueless. She could probably make a delicious mojito on the rocks or a salted rim freaking whatever margarita, but she has absolutely no business commenting on any financial matters. Well, I just knocked one of my 36 drinks over, so hold on a second. I got a little heated, got a little worked up. AOC came up and I just spilt everything. That's okay. All right. I'll clean this up later. Okay. So when it comes to AOC, this woman is financially unaware. She has absolutely no idea how the free market economy is supposed to work. She doesn't understand how capitalism works, and she doesn't understand what the responsibility of the government is. The government's responsibility, to be perfect and honestly clear, let me tell you right now, the responsibility of the federal government and the government is in general is to protect your rights, to protect your rights, to protect your right to property, liberty, freedom, the pursuit of happiness. The responsibility of the government is to act on your behalf, to uphold the words that are in the U.S. Constitution, and that's pretty much it. It is not the responsibility of the federal government to run the education system, to run the housing system, to run the healthcare system. This is not a responsibility of the government. These things are better managed by the free market economy. But people like AOC and all of these other people believe that it's the government's responsibility to manage you and take care of you from cradle to grave, to take care of your health, to take care of your home, to take care of your job, to take care of your money, to protect you from any and all things that could ever come your way from the day you are born until the day you die. That is what they think the government's responsibility is, to protect everyone by executing on the beliefs held by a very small group of very powerful, supposedly very smart individuals that can be easily manipulated and molded and are completely malleable to things that allow them to have more power or have more money. That's what they do. They are clueless. They believe that the government should regulate, manage, and control every aspect of your life, your entire life, from the day you're born to the day that you die. So, Maya Wiley, the socialist, completely financially illiterate, clueless person that's running for the mayor of New York, made a post about how affordable housing is a human right. God, this is so stupid. Housing is not a human right. Words are important, and these people are intelligent. They know what they're saying is complete bullshit. They know that they're lying to you. They just know that if they say something like right, like human right, it will have an emotional trigger and thus get people to react emotionally from a place of emotion instead of a place of logic and reason. So instead of acting on logic and reason, they act based on emotion. If you can trigger someone's emotion, you can get them to do pretty much anything. If you can trigger somebody's fear, if you can trigger somebody's concern, worry, or lack of justice or some other thing, if you can trigger them emotionally, you can get them to do just about anything. That's what they do. They say things that have emotional triggers attached to them, and then they manipulate you based on those emotional triggers. So what she said is, she says, I love you. I love your content. I love your critical thinking. But this, maybe it isn't so bad. Although I am not voting for, this is the email or a DM that I got about an hour ago. Although I am not voting for Maya Wiley. But yeah, I work and live in the Bronx, New York. I'm a paramedic. It's so expensive to live here. I work for the city, and the only way I could afford my rent for my first solo apartment was due to rent regulations and also a kind landlord. Some landlords get crazy with prices, but I get that they need to pay their bills too. Maybe you could talk on this topic because you 100% changed my mind as to why the $15 minimum wage was awful, and I learned so much. Okay. Housing and healthcare are not human rights. It is not a human right for you to be able to take products and services and capital from another person that worked to earn it. A house costs money. Someone has to pay that money. If you're saying that it's a human right, basically what they're saying is that it's the government's responsibility to pay that bill forward. If it was it's not a human right. There's no such thing. I wonder what the definition of human right even is, because it certainly isn't take products and services from other people. I'm gonna see if I can get a definition of human right. Okay. Okay. Human rights are the basic rights and freedoms that belong to every person in the world from birth until death. They apply regardless of where you're from, what you believe, or how you choose to live your life. They can never be taken away, although they can sometimes be restricted. For example, if a person breaks the law or in the interest of national security. These basic rights are based on shared values like dignity, fairness, equality, respect, and independence. And they are defined and protected by law. Having affordable housing is not dignity, fairness, equality, respect, or independence. What does the word affordable mean? It's not your right to live in New York City. You don't have a human right to live in New York City. No one says that you have the right. If you have a job that prices you out of the market because you live in New York City, I hate to break it to you, but tough shit. You have to either move out to a place that you can afford, get a better skill, get a skill that earns you more money, or deal with it. You don't have a right to live in New York. That's like saying I can't afford to live on Miami Beach. That's a human right. It should be my right to live on Miami Beach, because why is that? Is that it's not equal, it's not equality, it's not respect, it's not independence. Now, I'm not so if you don't live in the Bronx, but you live in another city, what, there's no jobs in that city? You're going to die if you don't live in the Bronx? You don't have the right to live in New York City. You don't have the right to live anywhere. You don't have the rights to housing. A house costs money. People had to spend time, effort, materials, land, property values, capital had to be saved in order to get the ability for you to have a house in the first place. Who built the house? It's your right that somebody else has to go and build a house for you, has to maintain that house for you? How is that a right? A right is not something that causes other people to provide goods and services in order for you to live comfortably. Also, saying things like affordable is like saying best. I'm the best in the world. It's like that's not something that can be measured. So saying that it's affordable is a meaningless word that they use, again, to just trigger your emotions, to make you feel some type of way. You don't have the right to live in the Bronx. And here's the message, okay? Listen, the free market economy works like the following. If you work and live in the Bronx and you're a paramedic and you can't afford to live there, you're going to leave. If you don't work as a paramedic in the Bronx and you leave, they just lost a paramedic. Well, now they got to find somebody to fill that job. You can't not have paramedics or people are going to die. So what happens? The free market economy makes the value of a paramedic's paycheck go up. No one forces you to take a job. No one forces you to accept a salary. You choose as an adult to accept that amount of money because you believe that that's the amount that's necessary in order to justify you doing that job. No one made you do that job. You don't have a right to that job. The free market economy sets the price of that job. If nobody would do the job for that price, they would have to pay more for it. Have you ever understood that garbage men make a lot of money? Garbage people make a lot of money. Why? Because nobody wants to be a garbage man. But they understand that in order to not have, and if you don't have any garbage men, there's nobody to pick up the garbage. So if they don't pay the garbage men enough to justify people being willing to be a garbage man, there are no garbage men. The free market economy sets the price of wages based on what people are willing to accept in order to do that job. Nobody forces you to be a paramedic. Nobody forced you to be a paramedic in the Bronx. Nobody forced you to accept that amount of money. If you're unsatisfied with the cost of living in the Bronx, move out of the Bronx. If you're unsatisfied with the cost of living comparable to how much money you make, get a better job. There's probably a way for you to make more money. I don't know how much time or effort it takes to become a paramedic, but there's probably another job that you could do that would generate you more money than being a paramedic. If you want to be a paramedic, you decide to be a paramedic for the remainder of your life. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to people that are paramedics. And I'm sure that it's fair to say that paramedics are probably grossly underpaid. But the reality is that Underpaid is a subjective term based on what you're willing to tolerate when the market sets the price of that job. You don't have a right to any place of living. You don't have a right to making more money. The market sets the price based on what people are willing to accept. If every paramedic in New York City was like, I'm not going to work for this amount of money, there would be no paramedics. So here, one of two things would happen. Other people would move to the area that were willing to accept that amount of money to be a paramedic. That's option A. B, the paramedics would get paid more money because they would have no paramedics if they didn't. That's option B. Or option C, like there would be no paramedic. So it's like there has to be a paramedic. So people would either move there to accept it, or the price would go up for the paramedics. If everybody just stopped being a paramedic, stopped accepting that price. So like, listen to what she said. She's like, it's so expensive to live here. I work for the city, and the only way I could afford rent for my first sole apartment was due to rent regulations and also a kind landlord. Okay, so she figured it out. She found a kind landlord, and then the rent regulations. I would say that the rent regulations probably have very little to do with it. And the rent regulations probably have more of a negative effect than just having a kind landlord. If all of those regulations weren't in place, the landlords would be able to keep more of their money. It would be less expensive for them to maintain buildings there. Like, regulation is somebody that's taking a piece out of the middle of a transaction. It's an obstruction to the free flow of adults making decisions with one another. It's an obstruction to the free movement of the marketplace. Regulations, not all regulations are bad, but a lot of these rent regulations, this building can't charge so much unless they follow this specific set of rules. What it does is it creates an unnatural flow of how the free market is supposed to work. There should probably be none of those restrictions. Those restrictions make it more expensive for you to be a landlord. It makes it more cost prohibitive for a landlord to even be a landlord, which means that the people at the top with all the power, they consolidate all of those apartments. And then you have one guy that owns 50,000 apartments because all the regulations are so expensive for everybody else to keep up with. If those regulations weren't in place, there would be more of an even distribution of people that held property in New York City, and then the rents would be more competitive. If you have 5 guys that own all of the rents, then they can create unnatural cost structures that basically manipulate and distort how the free market is supposed to work. Regulation is an obstruction to the free market working in the way that it's supposed to work. And it probably makes the cost of doing business considerably more expensive. Your rent wouldn't be so high if there weren't so many regulations. So the point is that, like, you have to believe in the free market economy and capitalism and how it's intended to work. You don't have a right to be in a certain place. And sometimes places get more expensive. And if the price doesn't rise commensurate to how expensive it is to live in that place, the value of that job has to go up, or people won't do the job. I would wager that a paramedic would make more money if people didn't accept that low an amount of money. There wouldn't just not be paramedics. We would need them, and they would come from somewhere. So see if I can find some bullet points. So again, I just found interesting. Yeah. So the point is, the message is the following. When the federal government, or when the government structure, which is basically a centralized group of people that make decisions on behalf of everybody else, as opposed to letting the free market economy do its thing, when those people get in between a free individual, a free adult making a decision or a contract or a contractual obligation with another free individual, a free independent American adult. When those people get in between that conversation, when they get in between that transaction, the transaction costs more money. So generally speaking, these things getting in the way make things more cost prohibitive, make things more expensive. Like every one of these government interventions operates in the exact same way. Like think about like the price of college. The price of medicine. Okay. The price of medicine, the price of college, for example, the price of college goes up because the government guarantees that they'll back all of these loans for people that probably should have never gone to college in the first place. So all these people that probably shouldn't go to college, now the government guarantees that they'll give them an interest-free loan until they accomplish this, until they pass this college. So the colleges understand that all they have to do is get as many people in the door as possible. They raise the price without raising the quality. More people get in, more people go to college that wouldn't already. All of the tuition goes up in cost, and more people attend college that don't. They get worthless degrees that they don't need for jobs that they're never even going to end up doing. And the cost of college skyrockets through the roof because the government intervened in what would have otherwise been a free market transaction. If they didn't guarantee all those loans, if they didn't lie to try to convince you that you deserve to go to college, like it's your right to go to college, then college wouldn't be so expensive. Same with medicine. If the government didn't get its dirty, filthy paws in the entire medical system, it wouldn't be as expensive. All of their regulations and all of their pieces in between, they're taking some of that cost out, and it's being absorbed it's being absorbed by regulation, and it's also being absorbed by the fact that the federal government, the socialized healthcare industry, i.e. Medicare, which purchases more than 50% of all the pays 50% more than 50% of all the medical bills in the entire country. It's like you have one buyer. You have one financially irresponsible buyer that buys everything. That's why it's so expensive, because they get their dirty little mitts in there. They make it so that health insurance is not actually insurance. It's basically health care. Health insurance is not supposed to be used. You shouldn't be using your insurance when you go to the doctor's office. That's not how insurance is supposed to be used. Like, you don't use your insurance when you go and get new brakes on your car, when you go get new tires on your car. You don't use your insurance to get new tires. You don't use your insurance to get new brake pads. You don't use your insurance to fill up your tank of gas. Yet we have turned health insurance into health care. Health insurance should work the same way that car insurance works. It's insurance in case of large expense. You shouldn't be using your insurance when you go to the doctor, when you go to the dentist, when you go to get a checkup, when you go to get something basic like an x-ray. That shouldn't be using your insurance. All of those things should be paid for in cash. You should be using a deductible much like you use your car insurance. Car insurance and health insurance should operate in the exact same way, and we would have a more successful healthcare system. But no, they make it so they say, oh, well, you can't get off your insurance if you have a pre-existing condition. I understand the logic behind that, but basically what that means is you're forcing a free market business to accept people that are sick. So it's like the government getting its dirty little mitts into all of these different situations is why everything is so expensive. There's no incentive. And what the government doesn't understand is they don't understand incentives. The government thinks that they can incentivize you with all the things that are the opposite of how you actually get incentivized. Every single thing that the government intends to do has the opposite effect of what their intent is. That's how the government works. They always have the opposite, backwards effect of what they're trying to accomplish. You get rewarded for doing the wrong thing. You don't get rewarded for saving money. The interest rates are zero. There's no reward for saving money. If you blow all your money, you get bailed out. It's like all of the wrong decisions you get rewarded for. All of the right decisions you get destroyed for. All these states that bankrupt their books and mismanage all of their money, those states get bailed out by the federal government. If you actually have a balanced checkbook and you manage your money correctly, you don't get any value from that from the federal government. They're not going to bail you out. So you are rewarded by failing. That's the government. That's what the government does. You get rewarded for failure. And that's why we're $28 trillion in debt. That's why we have insane trade deficits. That's why we have Joey Basement. That's why we have people that are trying to be socialists. That's why we have people that are so financially unaware. They don't want to teach us the right way to do things. They're going to teach you the food pyramid, which is grossly inaccurate. They're not going to teach you all the things in school that you should have learned. They don't teach you any of those things. The things that really matter in your life: how to manage money, how to manage your health, a credit score. I didn't know anything about a credit score until I was 19 years old. And even then I didn't even know. It took me until I was 26 before I really understood the value and importance of a credit score. Not one single time in any schooling that I ever took did anybody ever mention my credit score. Yet every single person in America has their life, their financial future dictated by that credit score. Yet you never heard about it one single time, not once. Why? Because they're not incentivized to teach you the correct way. They teach you how to memorize facts and figures that you'll never need. They teach you the wrong thing. You know why? Because the government runs the schooling system and there's no incentive for them to do better. The free market economy would have made private schools, would have had charter schools, but they hate private schools. They hate charter schools. They hate people actually being educated the correct things. They hate people. They hate when you compete. They hate when you compete for dollars. Ron Paul says it all the time. The government hates competition. So I just jammed for an hour. Who's got some questions? Anybody want me to talk about anything specific? Anybody have any questions? I can't find my wallet. An hour or 45 minutes ago says, how do you combat fact checks when having conversations with your lib friends? I don't know what you mean by fact checks. I could tell you how. Well, you don't. I mean, you tell the truth. That's how you combat a fact check. The YouTube is Bobby Sausalito. BOBBYSAUSALITO. Amy says on Facebook, great live. Thank you. Alicia says, how do you feel about a human credit score? That's horrible. Yeah, we definitely don't want that. Amy said our government is just one big money laundering front. I mean, kind of, not really, but I mean, like, sort of. You could say that about a lot of different things. And White says the education system is built off of a manufacturing process. You know what I think? What I think is that I think that the education system teaches people how to be employees, how to be good little drones, how to be fact reciting copycat drones. That's what I think. It certainly doesn't reward entrepreneurship, free thinking, independent thinking. It certainly doesn't reward that. Alicia says employees or victims. Yeah. Based. Chrono Chronic says, do you think we will see any accountability for any of the entire scamdemic non-consent gene therapy jabs? Do I think we'll see any accountability? Nope. I certainly don't. I do not. That's the thing is like you have two equally powerful conflicting factions that oftentimes neither are held responsible for the biggest of crimes. JHT official says I have subscribed on YouTube. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Melissa on Facebook says, I just had a phone call, missed everything you said. Can you start over? I'm gonna post the whole live to Facebook and YouTube and on Instagram, so you'll be able to go back and replay it. I save pretty much all my lives unless I bring people on and they say things that I feel like I could get clapped for. Amy said on Facebook, do you think we are already at war with China, or are we already sold out to China? I certainly don't think that we are already at war with them. Plus, like, war is such a loaded term. I don't think we're at war with them, and they manufacture the vast majority of our consumer goods. I mean, we're shipping them money in fucking cargo shipping containers. I mean, we're sending them more money than anything. They hold trillions upon trillions of dollars of our treasury bonds. We have trade deficits to China larger than I think any trade deficits we have to any country in the world. So I don't know we're at war with them as much as we finance a large percentage of their operation. But the thing that sucks about China is that we're really kind of like bamboozling them in a lot of ways. Like, we basically shipped all of our manufacturing there. We shipped all of our IP there, which they steal point blank right out in the open. They send their children here to be educated in the American school system, and all the woke scolds want them in for diversity purposes. They get educated in American universities, and they take all the education back to China, and then they use it against us. So it's like we're educating them. That we educate a large percentage of their we educate a ton of people that end up going back to mainland China and take that education far away. And then on top of it, they manufacture all of our consumer goods. And unfortunately for them, but luckily for us, they've been foolish enough to accept our IOU paper Joey inflation bucks in exchange for all of this productivity and production. So they produce tons of consumer goods and products for us, food products and everything else. And what do they get back from us? Soybeans, corn. I mean, it's like, there's going to be a day of reckoning when it comes to China, but right now we're kind of bamboozling them. We're sending them inflated fiat bucks in exchange for real productivity and goods. They're shipping us food, they're shipping us products, they're shipping us manufactured items, and oftentimes, I've been hearing this a lot with our trade deficits. They're shipping containers full of stuff to the United States, and we're shipping them back empty. In certain cases, it's cost more money to ship the containers back, so we just destroy them here. So it's not even worth the cost of the container to ship it back empty. And look, you know how much oil and gas costs? All the fuel and energy that we spend to ship something to China and back? They're shipping so much stuff to us, and we're shipping back empty containers. Because we don't produce anything. All of our stuff we produce digital stuff. We don't produce like they did. Because all of the regulations that we put, all the labor regulations and all the factory regulations and the environmental regulations, we priced ourselves out of the market. We shipped all of our production over there because we priced ourselves out of the market. Because the United States used to be the manufacturing giant of the world. But we shipped all of that away because of regulations. So, yeah. I would highly advise anybody that doesn't listen to Peter Schiff to go listen to Peter Schiff. There's a lot of great economic information from Peter Schiff. I would highly suggest that Everybody goes and listens to him. He has a podcast and a YouTube channel. Barbara said, we are the customer service country right now. I don't really think that we're the customer service country right now. I think that we ship a lot of those jobs to Pakistan, India, and a lot of other places like in the Caribbean. Ola says, how do you not piss every 2 minutes drinking all that? I do that. I handle that before I get on here. Roland is asking me a very specific question on Facebook. Did you see my boy Gene Ferris from Chicago? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know. Did I? Maybe. I have no idea. Nico says Biden says China will pass the U.S. by 2035. Yeah, he's probably right. Especially considering that they just artificially goosed the entire economy in their favor. So yeah, I mean that is highly likely. We could be in big trouble. WRX guy says he sweats it all out yelling at us. I love that that's how this is viewed, but yeah, for sure. Alicia says, what shows are you going to see? Probably EDC Vegas, definitely EDC Orlando, and whatever else comes up between now and then. I'm thinking about going to Chicago for there's like a house and techno festival in Chicago in August, and then there's a show. There's a Crossed in San Diego is putting on a festival in the fall called Day Moves, I think, in August. I might go to that. Naomi says people do not understand free market theory. Yeah. Roland says Spring Awakening. I don't think it's called Spring Awakening. The one in Chicago, it's not Spring Awakening. I forget what it's called, but that's not what it's called. Come to Piers for Tommy Vext in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I've never been to Indiana. I'd have to have a pretty compelling reason to go to Indiana. I am going to St. Louis next weekend. Joe says Chicago, pack heavy and wear a bulletproof vest. I'll probably be all right. Chicago's really nice. I like Chicago. It's a cool place. Nick on YouTube says America's current export is wokeism, and the French are understanding how terrible it is for a country and shutting it down. Yeah, that's good. Alicia says St. Louis is a dump. Okay. All right. I mean, I was there a couple months ago, and it seemed pretty cool. I didn't really go around in like downtown St. Louis. I was in Fenton, but Brad says, "Wake up! That place is dangerous." Yeah, I mean, every place is dangerous. You know what's more dangerous than Chicago? Portland. Yeah, Chicago's cool. I like Chicago. I've been there a couple times. I went to Lollapalooza, which I didn't really like very much. I thought Lollapalooza was kind of like, but it was fun. I had a good time there. I certainly had a fun time in Chicago, although it's kind of cold. It's like too cold. I didn't like the coldness. People are like, no, it's dangerous. Every place is dangerous. Yeah, I get it, it's dangerous, but like there's a million places that are dangerous. Yeah, every city has a bad side. Dixon says, have I ever been to Bonnaroo? No, I have not been to Bonnaroo. I've considered going to Bonnaroo a number of times, but I never ended up making it. I chose other festivals over Bonnaroo, mainly because I really like water. So Bonnaroo just being in the center of it all was like, But I wouldn't mind going. I certainly would go to Bonnaroo. Hopefully, I get a comedy spot at Bonnaroo one day. That'd be kind of funny. Although it would be kind of weird doing comedy there. That'd probably be super woke. So I don't know. North Coast in Chicago would be pretty cool. Yeah. Betty says, what countries have I been to? I've been to Canada, Mexico, Nicaragua, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, which is not a country, St. Thomas, which is not a country, which is, I guess, the U.S. Virgin Islands. I've been to Dubai, Cyprus, Italy, Portugal, Spain, and Bahrain, which is in Saudi Arabia. But actually, it's not in Saudi Arabia, but it's a country off the coast of Saudi Arabia. So I've been to those are all the countries. That's all the countries I've been to. I've been to France, but only in the airport, so that doesn't count. But yeah, those are all the countries that I've been to. Cyprus. Sean says, what's your favorite podcast you've done to date and why? Definitely the Real AF podcast. It was the best because it was the biggest by a long shot. And I like that it was conversational and not like interview style. Even though I really do like interview style, I like questions. Like you ask you a question, you answer the question. It was conversational. We were just like talking about things. They weren't like, why is your handle take naps? Or, like, where do you come from? And I do think that those are very valuable. And I think that those are cool. But I like conversational based podcasts. The question ones are good, but conversational ones are cool because you're like, it's like they can research you. It's not like the same old question. So I really liked the Real AF podcast. I thought that was really awesome. Mikey on Facebook says, I love how people say places are dangerous when they've never been there. Yeah, exactly. People tell me that Florida's too hot and they've never been to Florida. And I'm like, okay. It's like, yeah, I guess. Like I went to Utah last week and it was super hot, way hotter in Utah than it is here. And I was like, okay. WRX guy says I would love to go to Dubai. Honestly, Dubai was not my favorite. I feel like there's a lot of other places that I enjoyed way more than Dubai. I really loved Barcelona. Was awesome. I really had a good time in Barcelona. I went there by myself and I had a blast. So much fun there. Barcelona is really cool, and Italy is easily the coolest place I've ever been in my life. Portugal was cool too, but Barcelona was awesome. Barcelona and Italy. So Spain was really cool. But I stayed in like downtown Barcelona, which was really cool. Amor Scene says it's humid, right? Yeah, it's humid. The air is moist, but I really like it. I love the moisture. I like sweating. I'm a big fan of that. So it's really nice. I really like it a lot. Betty says I want to go to Italy. Yeah, Italy is really fun. I went to Pacha. I went to Pacha in Barcelona. It was really cool. Pacha. Roland on Facebook says, who's your favorite guest you've had with you or you have been on their show? I really liked Ross from the Drinking Bros podcast. He was really cool. I really enjoyed being on the I really enjoyed being on the Real AF podcast. Obviously, that one was really fun. Honestly, they've all been really cool. People that I've had on the live, like I've talked to some really cool people on the live streams. I really enjoyed talking to the UK Patriot and Judith Rose the other day. That's up on my Instagram. I really enjoyed that conversation a lot. They were really they are really cool people. So I really enjoyed chatting with them a lot. I enjoyed my chat with David Nino Rodriguez. That was an interesting conversation. That's up on my Facebook, YouTube, and that's up on my Facebook and my YouTube. Probably the favorite person I think I've ever talked to, I think, is Anomaly at Dream Rare. That was probably the best conversation I've ever had, I think, on a live stream. He's just I look up to him quite a bit when it comes to this game. I think he does a great job of just like telling and sharing the truth and being an objective news analyst. So my favorite person I've ever talked to on the live is Anomaly, for sure. When I was at FitCon, somebody walked up to me, a guy and a gal walked up to me and said that they recognized me from Anomaly's live stream. And I was like, that's awesome. I thought that was really cool. I was like, hell yeah, that's what's up. I was like, cool. I was like, you guys are based. Alicia says you've impacted a lot of us. Thanks, Alicia. Appreciate it. People are talking a lot about the discrepancies or about the elections discrepancies and stuff. I hope that the truth comes out about that. All I have to say is just don't get your hopes up. I hope so, but I don't know, man. We'll see. John Tondekar says, that's where I first saw you Anomaly live stream. That's awesome. Oh. What? Yo, the Insta. Yo, that's not based at all. Yo, what? Dude, all right, Facebook and YouTube. Instagram just booted me off the live stream because I have music playing. Wow, man. That's so annoying. That's really annoying. That was a really good. I feel like that was a really good live. Wow. That's so annoying. Man, that's really annoying. Well, at least it's on Facebook and YouTube. That's so annoying. I felt like I really did a lot of cool things on that live earlier. That's super annoying. Oh, man. Let's see I wonder if it saved it. It just booted me. Wow. Wow. Live archive. I wonder if it saves it. All right. Looks like it saved it. Wow. That is uncool. All right. I'm going to turn the live back on Facebook and, or on, turn it back on Instagram for a minute and say peace to the folks. I'll just be like, yo, I got popped. So I think that's my sign. That's the sign for the end of the show. That's really annoying. It's like a mix being played in the background. It's like I'm not even playing. It's like I'm not even playing the music. Ugh, it's so annoying. It's really frustrating. Alicia, you're like, say peace to the platforms. Yeah, the platforms. What am I gonna do? I could go out in front of my house and start yelling. Yo, so I just got my cheeks clapped because apparently the music that was playing in the background got they got some type of I got clapped because of the music. It's just like so annoying. It's like I'm sitting here by myself, like talking into my phone for an hour. It's like I can't listen to a little bit of tunes and kind of like keep the tone going. It's like that's really annoying. So stupid. But all right, I guess. Pompeo. So here's what I'm gonna do, you bags of cheese. The entire live is up on Facebook and YouTube. I will leave it there. But I guess that's my sign for the day or the night or whatever to back out or to like dip off, because I just got my cheeks clapped for this music. So I'm just gonna call it a I'm just gonna call it a night there. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it very much. Thank you to I think I saw a Cash App. I think that was Rob. I saw a Cash App come in. Thank you so much, Rob. I appreciate that. Thank you for sending the Cash App. That's awesome. Thanks to everybody that bought the badges before. I can't see the names anymore because the thing just got wiped. I'm going to try to post that live stream that I just did up onto the gram here. But if for whatever reason it doesn't work, the full video is up on my is up on my Facebook and my YouTube. If you don't already follow me on YouTube, please go follow me. YouTube.com/Bobby Sausalito. If you don't follow me on Facebook, please follow me on Facebook. I would appreciate that. All my links are on the footer of bobbysauce.com, so go check it out. If you didn't watch my video from today, go watch my video today. It's the hottest fire of all time. I think it's hilarious. I thought the video I did today, had me dying. When I was making it, I was like, this is hilarious. But for whatever reason, it didn't get as much attention today as I would have thought that it might have. So if you haven't had a chance to go watch it, post it up to your story, share it, spread it around if you could. I would really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you being here. Much love, and I will see you tomorrow. You know how we do it.